joined by Donovan Walker, go-to-market manager supporting channel partners like Ingram Micro. Thanks for joining us today, Donovan.
Glad to be here.
I know last quarter you weren't able to join us on the recording, but we did focus on solutions around the hybrid work. So this time, though, we're really more interested in the services side of things. And I know you're representing Surface Hub on this particular vlog. So when selling a Surface Hub, what type of services or support should our partners be thinking about when they're selling it?
So I definitely think partners should be thinking about, I would say there's four main services. You should be thinking about deployment, training, management, and then I would say, to wrap things up, I would say protection plans at the tail end of that.
So in the channel, what would you say some of the biggest challenges that you've seen for our partners when they do sell a Surface Hub is around it? Is it what services do you see them leave off the most that they really shouldn't?
I would say the training piece is oftentimes overlooked, and you'd be surprised. It's such a beautiful device. I think we're in the age now where people just assume that you can just get this device and you'll be able to turn it on, understand everything, all the functionality. But to get the proper onboarding and training to use this device, I think actually maximizes its potential. And I think that there's a lot more room and opportunity for training, I would say, in the marketplace, especially around Surface Hub.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of our implementation services here at Ingram Micro around Surface Hub, that is like the biggest key. I know for a while when anybody bought a Surface Hub, we were actually providing the free adoption training for them because we understand the importance of that. I feel a lot of people think, oh, it's a Windows device, it's simple enough to use, but tell us a little bit about the Surface Hub as far as being a collaboration device and why that's important.
I think the collaboration piece, it makes training even more critical, because you need to make sure that you have your end users, they're properly trained on actually using the device. You can make calls, you can connect, you can use the whiteboard. So you're going to have basic training for those that are using the device and that need to collaborate. But then you also have IT admins that are behind the scenes that are also managing a lot of these things. And for the collaboration to happen at the highest levels, the IT admins are also going to need to have a certain amount of training. That there's different settings and policies that can be managed remotely. They can automate a lot of these processes. So you can have like central managed settings and policies using Endpoint Manager. You can be using Microsoft Teams Admin Center. You could also be using Microsoft Teams Rooms, the expertly managed full self-service. But I think IT admins need to know that their data is protected, which allows, I think, these teams to feel more comfortable when they are doing this collaboration and cross collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely. And you touched on one thing that really caught my ear there about the actual Microsoft Teams Rooms Admin Center. That brings to mind, I know, the announcement a couple of months ago that end of October, beginning November, possibly, that Surface Hub is going to be going through a change where it's actually going to be considered a Microsoft Teams Room device. And I think leveraging those services once that new operating system makes it a Microsoft Teams Room device is going to be very important when deploying those Surface Hubs.
I think from the top down, and that's also going to help with, we talked about just standard training that needs to happen, but there's also a certain amount of, I would say, training, but also enablement when it comes to deployment as well, just to make sure that all of those processes are set up accurately. Because if you have like a smooth implementation, then the ongoing operation of the hub, it's going to have a far more positive experience for the IT admins behind the scenes, but also those that are using the device physically. So I think it's critical that that everybody understands the full capacity of these devices and what they can get out of it. I think it's going to be an amazing addition to Microsoft Teams rooms for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate your time today, and I just want to recap it. So it's not everyone that I've talked to today around services and training and everything. One key thing came up. Every piece of hardware or these devices that we're talking about in the hybrid work solutions or the hybrid work environment needs to be installed properly, and then also needs to be taught how to actually use them to the way they were designed to be used. So again, appreciate you joining us today, and we'll hope to see you next quarter.
All right, awesome. Thank you for the time.
We are now joined by Amanda Stewart, Partner Account Manager at Microsoft. Now, Amanda, I know you didn't have the pleasure of joining us last time when we focused on the hybrid work solutions that Microsoft works around. This time we're talking more interested about the service side of things. How does Microsoft look at the services and installation around Microsoft Teams rooms in the hybrid work?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it really is critical for a few different reasons. And I'll frame up, I guess, the services that I think of when I'm thinking about Microsoft Teams rooms. So I think we all know that Teams rooms have an enormous opportunity, specifically in North America and the US. We're just heading into our FY24, and I think the metric is that there's over 800,000 rooms of white space for Teams customers. So those rooms are just waiting for Teams rooms to be deployed. That is a huge opportunity, though. So we need to rely on professional services and partners like Ingram Micro that can help us supplement those services to scale and to allow our partners to scale to reach that maximum opportunity. So when I think of buy and try programs and training and adoption training, implementation services, and even in finance and capital programs, those I think are the really critical components of allowing our partners to scale to reach this, like I said, this enormous opportunity of white space in the US. And our partners are really lucky because they have a partner, a distribution partner like Ingram Micro to help supplement these services. And I think, one other factor that we want to consider is that, as we all know, there's two sides to every Teams room opportunity. There's the hardware, the device component, and then there is the license component. And you have to have both in order to have a successful deployment. And when there are partners that are really, really good at installing hardware and doing integration services, they may not be great at or focused as much on the license side of the business. So we really need provisioning services to help facilitate a successful deployment there. And vice versa, if there's cloud partners that are really good at selling licensing, but not the hardware, we need to be able to supplement services through partners to help those partners install the Teams rooms devices.
Yeah, that's a great explanation around it, and I 100% agree with you. And I think the hardest thing that we have out there, with Microsoft, and especially in my role here at Ingram Micro, being vendor agnostic, we see all the solutions, we see all maybe the pain points that customers are having and our partners are having. And I really think having the entire solution, when we talk about solution selling, it's not just an integrator installing that piece of hardware and then leaving it for someone else to go ahead and do the licensing. There's a lot of disconnect sometimes there, and those Teams rooms don't get implemented properly, and they're not working properly. And now that we have the licensing enforcement in effect, there's probably been a lot of issues. So I think going forward, leveraging our services and selling it as the full-on solution is going to be the way that these rooms are going to be the most successful.
I completely agree. Yeah, and specifically when we think about Ingram Micro, and your partners are so lucky to have a partner like you because you're able to provide so many value-added services and professional services to our mutual partners. So, I think you talk a lot about your buy and try program, which is, a phenomenal program. We're always looking for ways to accelerate proof of concepts, and that is not always easy. So having a buy and try program is something that is really critical to just, getting to that next phase of an opportunity, and, getting the devices on site, having the POC, completing a point of or a proof of concept, and then getting the customer into an actual successful implementation of the devices. So you guys are really filling that gap that we see sometimes in the field to actually get to the point of allowing a customer to have a POC. I love that Ingram Micro provides partner and customer training. I think training is a huge component of success for Teams rooms. You can have the hardware and you can have the software, but if you don't have user training and adoption training, you're shooting yourself in the foot a little bit, because that is where you're going to start to see the ROI. And that, when you start seeing ROI, that is when customers come back and they say, this is great. This is really impacting my productivity. My employees know how to start their meetings and just focus on the content of the meetings. So I think that training is absolutely critical to the success. And then, one thing that I always talk about too is your ability to provide implementation services nationwide. Not all partners have, even if they have professional services, they may not have professional services to scale to the full country. But we can leverage Ingram Micro to help supplement those professional services. You guys have experts that can go on site and provide the implementation, provisioning, training, and it's sort of a soup to nuts implementation service that would allow our partners to be able to scale, again, to reach that maximum opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's the key point, what you said. It allows our partners to scale because they're not competition. They're almost an extension of our partner's business.
Right, exactly.
Takeaway from our conversation, Amanda, is for one, it's important that we are installing the full solution. That means the hardware along with the licensing, and then making sure that they have training on that solution.
Absolutely.
Well, I really appreciate you joining today, and we hope to see you in the next quarter's vlog.
Thanks for having me, Paul. I'll definitely be there. Good to see you.
We are now joined by Pike Schouten. Pike, I'm going to refer the same question to you. Last time, again, we focused on the solutions that you guys offer for hybrid work. This time, I'm more interested in the services side of things. So I want to know, how important are the services that Logitech offers along with your products and solutions?
That's, again, great question, Paul. Services are key, and, Logitech being the global leader and having to have that global position from a support perspective, we've always made sure that any of our customers or partners can call our support. We actually have 14 dedicated support sites across the globe. And of course, we have our support team that is also positioned in the US. Now, standard support is something that we kind of expanded, a lot of, support centers, it's 9 to 5. We've expanded that from 8 to 8 Eastern. With that, however, it's still standard support. So what we really want to do is create an entire service model. And that's something that we've been working hard on, and we're really excited to share that with everyone. And, we look at it, we want to simplify things. It needs to be easy to sell. It needs to be easy to position for the partner. And it also needs to be built around the partner as well. So what I want to talk to you about today is our Select. And our Select service allows you to kind of build like an entire wrapper around the conference room. And it simplifies things because it's a one fits all. And it doesn't matter if it's for SMB or large enterprise, it all is using the same service package. You basically add a service Select license to the room and it covers everything. And what I mean with everything, even things outside the room, like our tab scheduler. Just to further simplify it, if a customer decides to add a whiteboard camera after they added the service package, so Select for the room, it's automatically enrolled. And it's a one fits all, so small, medium, large. We don't care how many devices are in the room, we just covered that. And better yet, this is not going through our standard support. This is a dedicated service team that is available instead of Monday to Friday, like your average, standard support, 7 days a week, 24/7. And better yet, to simplify it, the portal that is, of course, available for the customer and the end user and the admin is also multi-tenant. So our partners can really add that in their service model, and they can manage this as well. And it's as simple as filing a ticket in the service portal. And within 60 minutes, a tier 2 technician from our Select team will contact whoever submitted the ticket. They can choose if they want to be contacted by email or by phone. And then again, they really make sure they get to a quick resolution. Let me give you an example, right? if a device is defective. We've been through these pain points, as consumers or in our jobs where you have to do the whole tier 1, tier 2 dance, things get escalated. You have none of that, none of those pain points, as a select customer, right? You file the ticket, and within that 60 minutes, when you work with the tier 2 support agent, they're going to quickly determine that. But better yet, it's not waiting for 3 to 5 business days to get the unit replaced. It is next day RMA. So if a unit is defective, we ship out the unit within 24 hours next business day. So it's a much quicker turnaround. Another big benefit is that with that select package, we'll also give you some extra features. We have our free sync management platform where you can manage all your conference room equipment. And then, of course, we have Sync Plus, which is a value add. It's a subscription model that is actually included in Select. And that's going to give you data analytics. It's going to give you instant alerts if a device is disconnected. So with Select, we really give you that entire wrapper around the conference room. And for these large enterprises that have more than 50 rooms, what we actually will do is we actually give an entire spare kit for the most important room. So think of your, important boardroom. We actually ship you an extra rally bar, a tab, a tab scheduler, whatever is in the room. You get an entire spare kit so that IT can quickly switch out in any part that may be defective or needs to be, tested. So that's another benefit. And then you get a designated service manager as well that is in charge of any of those tickets that you submit. So again, something that we're really excited to offer to our partners and our customers to really make that support experience, seamless.
Pike, you covered a lot of information there, and that's great. But you hit the key points when we're selling Logitech Select is you can always add extra pieces to the conference room at any time. The data analytics, the advanced replacement, and the extra service you get if you have multiple rooms on Select that you can add on-site replacement right there based on the amount of rooms. Logitech Select is one of the best services that we offer along with, our competitors out there. But I really wanted to appreciate you taking the time to join us today in our vlog, and we hope to see you in the next quarter.
Hi, I'm Amy Brown, Team Lead for Jobber Business Services. Did you know that Jobber can guide large enterprise customers to success with our Engage series headsets, even in their largest of offices? Or that we can help them achieve that through customization of settings before they even get delivered to their door? A Jobber service consultant can work with you and our customer to establish the specific needs of the organization according to user profiles, device connectivity, and office floor layouts. Some key questions to ask your partner or customer to help us identify if they're a good fit for this service offering are you looking to install more than 50 wireless headsets on a single floor? Do you have resources or approved software for audio endpoint configuration at the time of installation? Reach out to us today and we'll let you know how we can help.